Windows 10 end of life will be October 14th, 2025. For me, the best solution for my computers that will be end of life is to install Linux. After you install Linux, you really can keep using the same computer for your everyday tasks like web browsing. There's much more privacy using Linux, which doesn't sell your data like Windows. And I've been using Linux as my everyday driver computer for quite some time now, and I found the best version or distribution of Linux for the average Windows user is Linux Mint, and specifically Linux Mint Debian Edition. Why Linux Mint Debian Edition, or LMDE? Well, there's a Reddit thread talking about this here, but quickly, Linux Mint is a version or distribution of Linux that is made to be like Windows, so it's very easy to use for Windows users. Regular Linux Mint is based on Ubuntu. I like Linux Mint based on Debian for several reasons. Debian is used on maybe the majority of web servers out there. Debian is focused on technical excellence and reliability. And throughout the years, Debian has not done things to frustrate end users. Ubuntu has done things in the past that have really frustrated end users, including Amazon search in its default search, raising concerns of privacy, promoting its own snap packaging system over Flatpak, which the rest of the open source community is rallying behind. I'm going to be doing this installation on a ThinkPad T460. ThinkPads are known to have good Linux support, but the majority of computers I've installed Linux on have just worked. But there have been instances where everything didn't just work. For example, on MacBook Pros from a couple years ago, I found that the Wi-Fi doesn't just work. And there might be other problems depending on what kind of computer you're installing it on. Your mileage may vary, but might as well give this a try since this Windows 10 computer is going to be worthless on Windows 10 once it's end of life. And everything I'll be doing in this video will be completely free. You just need to have your own USB stick with more than 2.5 gigabytes of storage. Alright, we can start just by searching LMDE, Linux Mint Debian Edition. We can download the file from linuxmint.com, LMDE 6. The size is 2.5 gigabytes, so we'll need a USB of at least 2.5 gigabytes. And we can download by clicking here, or wherever is closest to your computer. We'll also need to download a program to write LMDE 6 to the USB properly. So let's use BalenaEtcher. And just download Etcher. Let's download for Windows. The next step is to open the BalenaEtcher file. Alright, then we click Flash from File. Go to where our file is, this LMDE.iso file. You may have to put in your administrator password. You can just ignore this thing that popped up. It's just a Windows automatic pop-up in this process. But BalenaEtcher will first flash the file and then validate that it flashed correctly here. Alright, so the flash completed successfully. Alright, the USB stick is ready. You'll then want to plug in that USB stick to the computer you're installing Linux on, and then boot from that USB stick instead of the internal hard drive. This will be different in terms of which steps you need to do, what exactly you need to do. But for this computer, this ThinkPad T460, it's turning on the computer, then just pressing enter, and then I can select to boot from the USB stick. So turn on the computer, press enter, and then I can press F12 to choose a temporary startup device. And then I can choose my USB All right, here we have different options, but it's really straightforward to just go with the default of Start LMDE. And then the computer is booting from the USB stick. And we see the Linux Mint logo here. All right, so this is what you'll see now, and from here you can just test out Linux Mint first before actually installing it on the hard drive. This is a good way to make sure things actually work, and if you had to stop this process and you feel like Linux Mint is not working, you can just restart the computer, take out the USB stick, and still use your computer as if you never did anything. When you're done testing out Linux Mint, you might want to put in your Wi-Fi password here and start up Firefox, and just do anything else you think you want to test before actually installing the operating system. When you're done with all that and you're sure you want to install Linux Mint, just double click the shortcut there. All right, and then just click Let's Go. Select your language. Select the time zone. For me, I'm on the West Coast, San Francisco, but the way Linux is, I would just select Los Angeles because that's the same time zone as San Francisco. And then click Next. The keyboard layout, I'll just take the default. Click Next. And then your username and password. All right, and I just fill out my name, computer's name, username, password. I'll require my password to log in, although for some computers I select login automatically just to save some typing. I don't need to encrypt my home folder. It's not a super secure computer. All right, and then I have to select a disk. I'll just select the one internal hard drive in there. Use LVM, Logical Volume Management. I do select that, just it has some functionality. I won't encrypt the operating system. This computer is not going to be my super secure one. If we do encrypt the operating system, then a passphrase and a confirmed passphrase will be filled out. So every time you start up your computer, you'll have to type in the passphrase. So that just adds a lot of typing for the daily use. But it is super cool that Linux offers this encryption for free, because that's something you'll have to pay for, BitLocker on Windows. So I'm going to have those options and then click next. This will delete all the data. Are you sure? Yes. Install the GRUB boot menu on /dev/SDA. Yeah, just keep that default. And here are the options I chose. And I'll just click install. And then here's where the operating system is actually being installed on the internal hard drive. So this will take some time. If you have USB 3.0 like this computer does, it'll take not too long. I'd say about 10-15 minutes. All right, that was actually quicker than what I estimated. It's like a 5-minute installation. All right, installation is complete. Do you want to restart your computer to use the new system? Yes. All right, remove the installation media. That'd be the USB stick. Press enter. All right, and now we are booting into LMDE 6 Faye from the internal hard drive. All right. We just type in our password and we will be in. All right. So we have a welcome to Linux Mint screen. It'll take you through steps you may want to do to set up your new system, from desktop colors to other things. For me, I usually just change my colors to dark, save some energy with dark screens instead of light screens. I like the Linux Mint green. And I also like to go to Update Manager and set preferences to just automate everything. So all right, and here is where you can select your Wi-Fi network and enter a password. So once you enter a password, you can connect to your Wi-Fi network. And then just browse the web as you usually do. Now, besides web browsing, LMDE 6 does come with quite a bit of software. the Office software is very, very good. The LibreOffice is very good. A lot of people sometimes think of OpenOffice as the free and open source Office software to use, but it's actually LibreOffice that the open source community is rallying behind. So this LibreOffice is very good software. You can even script Python to it, last I checked, which I don't think that's possible with Microsoft Office last time I checked. Besides the very good Office software, there's also Software Manager. And Software Manager is the Flatpak that I was talking about earlier in the video, that the open source community is really rallying behind. So with Flatpak, you can install VLC and a bunch of very good software. This is kind of like an app store. For example, Gimp is a really, really good. It's crazy how good it is for being free and open source. This is Gimp. This is the open source version of Adobe Photoshop. You just might need to put in your password to install. I've actually found that there was an error when I tried to install Gimp, and I think that error might be resolved if I do the updates via Update Manager. This popped up when updating about which checkbox to install GRUB on, and GRUB is the bootloader. And I've researched this. It looks like /dev/SDA is the proper choice. Alright, reboot required. Just reboot this computer. Alright, computer's rebooted. Let me check update manager. System is up to date. Okay, let's go back to software manager. Software manager can be a little bit slow. What I like to do is install software via terminal a lot of times because it is faster than Flatpak here. Alright, let's pick the one from Flathub, and that's the main Flatpak. Install. Another way to install software that is quicker, as I've said, is to use terminal apt install, for example, VLC. Do you want to continue? Why? Alright, when it's done, I can just type VLC here or just VLC from the start menu, and you have VLC. 2.10.38 version. And 10.34. Huh. So yeah, I'll just go with the Flatpak one for now. Alright, it's done installing. I've sometimes used Gimp for just random photo editing the free and open source way.